for new makeup releases, but which ones are actually worth your money. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Carmel, and in today's video we are testing and reviewing the new Chanel concealer, the new ABH Embers palette, the new Sculpted by Aimee cushion foundation, and the Dior Rouge Backstage lipsticks. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. My skin is prepped in the usual way with this, my Embers Moisturizer Primer. So I think we'll kick off with this new concealer from Chanel, the Ultra Laiton Concealer Correcteur. This retails for €47, and for that you get 8.5 grams of product. This claims to be a high-performance, waterproof concealer that delivers 12 hours of wear and hydration. It claims to be a buildable, medium to full coverage concealer. It also has a hydration boosting complex with hyaluronic acid for moisturized and comfortable skin. I actually do really like the doe foot. I like the fact that it's angled and you can really get into those hard to reach places. So as far as I can see, this concealer is available in 30 shades, and I went for the shade B30 because it's my foundation shade. So I know that this is a neutral concealer shade. To be honest, I think I should have gone a little bit darker or maybe a little bit peachier with the shade, but it is fine. I have included here some swatches against some of my other concealer shades, just to try and help you out a little bit if you are looking for your concealer shade. If you've not been here before and you're not familiar with my under eyes, we have a lot to deal with. So very dark, very veiny under eyes. This one, not so bad, but this one, problematic. So let's go in over here to start with. And you can see when it goes into my face there that it is really light. Just taking a clean BK Beauty A506 brush to tap that out. And as you can see there, it just blends really seamlessly, very easily. This is a medium to, well, I'd say it's buildable. I wouldn't say it's completely full coverage, but I'd say it's not far off, to be honest. It definitely is buildable, and the thing that you'll notice about this concealer straight off the bat is how smooth it is. It's incredibly smooth, and although it's really smooth, it doesn't feel totally serumy. You know, some concealers can be very serumy and it can leave you with quite a radiant and luminous finish, but I don't find that I get a super luminous finish from this. I would say I get a soft matte finish from this concealer, which is actually really appreciated. So you can see there how much it has masked my darkness, and it's covered those problematic veins that I have under my eyes. But obviously the biggest concern is over here. So we'll just pop a little bit here, and I always pop a little bit directly over that problematic vein and then just put a little bit there. Remember, it's always the best way to kind of start minimally and then build it up. It really is lovely on the under eyes. It feels incredibly hydrating. It kind of has that perfect balance of high coverage and hydration. And I really do feel like if I'd have got a peachier shade, I would get much better coverage of my problematic areas. But that's just one really light layer, and you can see how much of a difference that has made. It's incredibly flattering on mature under eyes. It really is. So I know the biggest question that I'm going to get asked, I'm just going to build this up for you, is this completely creaseless? And the answer is no. I don't think it is, because I don't think any concealer is completely crease free. If there are lines there, and believe me, I'm noticing a lot more lines. I don't know whether it was since I hit 43 or what, but the lines are incoming. Yes, they are. Now, they're not bad. They're not terrible wrinkles, but I'm definitely noticing a lot more fine lines, okay? A lot of them. And no matter what concealer I'm using, whether it's a Holy Grail concealer, whether it's a Nude concealer, I'm finding that I am getting a little bit of settling into lines. And this is no different to that. But what I can assure you is this is not a drying concealer. It's not a concealer that is going to crease terribly under your eyes. However, if you have lines there, it's going to sit into them. It's not a miracle worker, you know, it's not going to be magic, but it's going to sit into little lines if there are little lines there. And I am going to show you a little bit of daylight footage so that you can see what I'm talking about. But that's how my under eye's looking after building it up. And there is no fragrance to this concealer. And I think it looks really, really good. Has it eliminated and erased my darkness? No, it hasn't. Does it sit into a few of my little fine lines? So it doesn't plump out my under eyes, but do I really like this concealer? The answer is absolutely. I really like it. So let me just show you a quick before and after. So in summary, I think this is an absolutely fantastic concealer. I think it's smooth. I think it gives great coverage. I think it's hydrating without being luminous and without emphasizing those eye bags. Whether you have dry skin, dry under eyes, whether you have oily skin, combo skin, I think you'd really like this. There's nothing drying or heavy about this. This gives great coverage whilst remaining hydrating and lightweight, and I think it's beautiful on mature skin. I really, really like it. So yes, into the top drawer this Chanel concealer goes. It's just a shame that it's so expensive. We're going to move on to foundation now, and I ended up picking up this new foundation by Sculpted by Aimee, the Cream Cushion Foundation, and I've tried Sculpted by Aimee products and I've loved everything that I've tried. This has been a roller coaster. I'm not even going to lie. I've never tried a product quite like this before. It retails for €32 and it is available in 30 different shades. It claims to be a customizable coverage cushion foundation with a boost of skincare, powered by Longwear polymers, niacinamide and glycerin, to provide a buildable formula which allows you to customize your coverage from light to full. It has an innovative mesh technology which gives you complete control over how much you apply. And this foundation also includes an SPF of 30. So I picked this up in the shade 3C, which is actually a cool shade, which would be unusual enough for me because I'm a neutral, but I can get away with cool shades. And the reason that I went for 3C is because I thought I would be 4N, but it was way too dark. I actually got into store to swatch 4N and it was way too dark for me. Now in the Sculpted by Aimee Second Skin Dewy Foundation, I'm the shade 3.5. So I'll just show you a comparison. So at the bottom is the Dewy Foundation in 3.5 and this is the new Cream Cushion Foundation in 3C. I really need to explain to you my journey with this foundation because I really didn't like this when I first tried it. Okay, so let me explain to you. When you first get this foundation, it has a foil over this meshy part. It does have this really innovative mesh over the top of the foundation. Now, I didn't do any reading prior to trying this foundation, and I probably should have done, because when I opened it, the first thing I noticed was oil. There was oil that seemed to drip out of the foundation, which I was a little bit concerned about. I thought, oh my gosh, have I got a faulty foundation? Anyway, the first time I used it, I used this. You can see I have used it. I'm going to say you don't need that. I think that's just appropriate for top-ups, okay? I don't really like this. It's not the best that I've used. And actually, even the founder, Aimee Connolly, prefers to use a brush with this foundation, which is very interesting, I would say. So anyway, I applied it with this and didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. I have really dry skin, so I love glowy, hydrating, even dewy foundations. But this kind of looked oily on my skin. I looked so shiny. I looked kind of greasy. And I was desperate to powder my face, which, if you know me at all, you'll know that that is completely strange for me. I never feel the need to desperately powder my face, but I really did all day. And then I spoke to one of my lovely YouTube friends, Ebrew, and she said to me, I've tried this foundation and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever put on my face. And if you look back at our thread conversation, my reply to her was, Yeah, I'm not really having that same experience. It's kind of looking a little bit oily on my skin. That she found the same thing, but she gave it a good shake and she persevered with it. And after doing the same thing, after persevering with it, giving it a good shake and pressing that mesh a few times to try and mix everything together, I've had a completely different experience. So I would not be surprised if someone tried this foundation for the first time and absolutely hated it. I feel like it needs to be mixed. I'm going to put this on with a BK Beauty 101. It definitely applies best with a brush, okay? 100%. So anyway, after I'd had a bit of a rocky start with this foundation, I'm just going to tap it in. I went to Aimee Connolly's Instagram to see what they were saying about this cushion foundation. And Aimee herself says that you need to mix everything together, basically. There's a film across the cushion foundation, and that needs to be mixed in, basically, with the foundation. Or I think that's what she means. And honestly, she's right. It's a little bit tricky to get going with. And if you are watching first impressions of this foundation being applied to somebody's face, I don't feel like it's an accurate representation of how this foundation looks or performs. It's definitely radiant, and I don't feel like they specifically say what the finish is. So they say that it gives you a silky, flexible finish. What does that mean? I think this gives you somewhere between a luminous, radiant and dewy finish. I think the first couple of uses, it's really dewy. It's too dewy. But, I mean, this just gives me the perfect finish. So it's not too shiny and it's not too dewy, but it does still have quite a lot of glow to it. I feel like I've done a lot of rambling about this foundation, but it's the most unique foundation I've ever used, honestly. This definitely has customizable coverage, so you can go in with a really light layer, or like me, you can build it up a bit. Okay, so that's just one side done. You can see the luminosity there. You can see the glow. And that's with nothing. It does say that it's suitable for all skin types. I don't know about that. I don't know if this would be your cup of tea if you have combo or oily skin, to be honest. I just can't imagine you would get on board with it. I think this is one for those with dry skin. Now, there's a time and a place for it. Do I think I'd wear it on a night out? Not really. I don't think so. I think I'd need something that is a bit more toned down, a little bit less glowy. But for an everyday foundation that's going to make my skin look, like it says, bouncy, hydrated, really youthful. This gives me a really youthful look to my skin. There's no settling into any single line on my face. I'll just show you a little bit of daylight footage as well. And I did want to say that this lasts surprisingly well on my face. I expected it to slide off. However, I do powder this. I always powder my T-zone because I do think that I look a little bit shinier than normal in that area. So I get great longevity out of this. But again, I think if you had oilier skin, combo skin, I'm not sure how long this would last on you. Can I smell SPF? Maybe a smidge. I don't know. I'm trying to really look for it, but it's very subtle. Whatever fragrance is in there, if there is any, I think it would be the SPF, and it's very, very minimal. Let me show you a quick before and after. If I'd not persevered, I'd never have appreciated how smooth, how beautiful, how flattering this foundation really is. It's one that you need to figure out, but when you do, it's gorgeous, but not really if you've got oilier skin, in my opinion. I don't have any new bronzer and blush, so I'm going to pop some on and then I'll be back to do my eyes. On the eyes today, we are going to be using this new palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Mini Embers palette. There was something about this palette that I couldn't stop thinking about. So a couple of things. People are saying that this is a rebirth of the ABH Master palette. I never owned that, but I had a look at it online and they do look the same. Okay, obviously there are some differences. The Master palette was bigger. This is a mini, but very similar. A few people have swatched them side by side and they literally look identical. There was another palette that I really wanted and I spoke about it in my buy or buy video. It was the new Makeup by Mario palette, the new Makeup by Mario Ethereal palette, the Nature, is that what it's called? The Nature palette, and I really wanted it. But I had only seen a couple of really positive reviews, and when this came out, I just thought, I think I might prefer this. Number one, this seemed really wearable, even though it's got colours in here, I know, which I really rarely wear. Plus, this is a lot cheaper. It's a lot handier for travel. I think I paid for this €24 because I got it with a 20% discount, but I think it retails for €32. And I'll just show you a couple of daylight swatches of this palette. This is not going to be a palette that you are going to see from space. There are no extravagant shimmers in here, but you know what? I fancied a change. I fancied an eyeshadow palette that was going to be very soft, very subtle, very wearable on an everyday basis. So you have a mixture of really beautiful soft mattes and some metallics, but no bold shimmers. And you have a range of neutrals and warms in here. And I'm really liking this. I think this is underpriced. I really do. And you know why I say that? I recently bought this from L'Oreal, the Mugler palette. This was the same price as this, and they are not in the same league. Okay? Not in the same league. If you're going to spend your money on anything, please go for this ABH palette. Oh my gosh. What we're going to do is we're going to kick off with this middle shade here. So I'm going to put that on with a BK Beauty 202 brush. Now I'm only going to put a little bit of this on. Don't want it to overwhelm the look. These are so silky. That is the best way to describe these mattes. Do you remember when ABH palettes used to be literally all anybody ever wanted? In 2016, yeah. Those were the days, my friends. I still have ABH palettes and, do you know, they're just as good as ever. But, you know, if I compare this to that L'Oreal palette that I bought from Mugler, the Mugler collab, there's no comparison in the formulation. None at all. I'm now taking a BK Beauty N13 brush and I'm going to go into this green. I don't wear colour on my eyes, but let me tell you, if you are, like me, someone who is afraid of colour, who doesn't wear anything really other than neutral, nude eyeshadow looks, I think you would love this palette. It's so wearable. It's not a crazy green that you are going to think doesn't suit you. It's very subtle, but oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. If you are someone who likes to wear really bold eyeshadow all the time, I don't think you'll be impressed by this. But if you are a little bit on the subdued side, like me, I think you will love this. So now I'm going to go in with this lighter shade here. This looks like it's going to be very shimmery, but it feels just like a very soft satin. And I'm going to just apply that with a Refa 21. It's just a flat shader brush. And I'm just going to pop that into the middle. This would be such an amazing one and done, actually. It's really beautiful. So pretty. I'm actually going to take a BK Beauty N12 brush and I'm going to take some of that green just under the lash line a little bit. Then I'm actually going to go in to this blue down here and I'm going to take just a bit of that on my lash line. And you'll see how not scary this shade is. And I'll go under the lash line a little bit with it too. I think because it's kind of navy, it's not super scary. Not scary at all. For someone like me who's such a colour phobe, this is such an amazing little palette because it's not scary. It doesn't frighten me. The colours are so subtle, they're subdued, but still really, really beautiful. The subdued nature of the palette doesn't take away from the beauty of it. Let me just complete the eyes. I'm going to throw on a little bit of mascara. I think I'm going to use this Kosas one. This is my newest high-end mascara and I never use it. Never, because I'm a drugstore girly when it comes to mascara. So let me whack this on and complete the eyes. So I know that people are saying that this is the perfect palette for fall, and honestly, I do think it's absolutely beautiful for fall, but genuinely all year round. I am so glad that I picked this up. I love this. So this is a huge tick, and I'm so glad that I chose this palette instead of the new Mario one. I just feel more content in my choice, and yeah, I highly recommend this. So if you look at my face now, you'll see that I'm definitely becoming more shiny, and this is why with this Sculpted by Aimee foundation, I don't think that it's appropriate for people with more oily skin. I don't have oily skin, but I still look super shiny in these areas. So the first thing I want to do before I powder is I did want to show you a little bit of this Chanel concealer on the face. So I have used it on my face and it's really good. I don't really have anything super problematic to cover today, which, touch wood, don't know why my skin's behaving recently. Just taking a Real Techniques brush and I'm just going to blend that out. I wore this concealer the other day, and although it's not particularly blurring around your pores, I mean, that's not really the job of a concealer. I wore this with a very minimal makeup look and it looked really nice. It looked really, really nice. So I am going to use my usual Florasis pressed powder, and this is my Bigger Beauty N15 powder brush, and just going to take it just basically down the center of my face. Now I do have glowy cheek products on as well, so that's something to bear in mind. We're going to end with a lipstick from Dior. This is the Rouge Dior On Stage lipstick. This is an ultra longwear lipstick with a shine finish. So I picked up the shade 222, and there are 10 shades to choose from, and this retails for €47. My all-time favorite high-end lipsticks, obviously I do love MAC, but my other favorites are from Dior, the Hydrating Shine lipsticks. Now, one of my lovely YouTube friends, Heidi, did mention to me that she had been told by a Dior employee that these are going to be finishing, which I am mortified at, and they're going to be replaced by these. These for me are completely different products in my experience. So again, I picked up the shade 222, which is called Confidant Nude, which I said I wanted. First thing you'll notice about this is the beautiful packaging. Now, there are pros and cons with this packaging. It's so sleek. It's really beautiful, like you would expect from Dior. And it has this precision tip, which I really, really appreciate when it comes to lipsticks. It just means that application is just that little bit easier. However, this cap is so annoying. If you try and put the cap on in any old way, it won't go on. You kind of have to fiddle around with it to get the right combination for it to actually close. I thought there was something wrong with my lipstick because it actually came with the lid off. And so it will only close when you match it up perfectly. It won't close if you put it like that. It won't close if you put it like that. It's so annoying. The other thing that's pretty annoying is the fragrance. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the fragrance of this. I mean, look, we all know Dior and all these big luxury brands, they always put fragrance into their products. I'm not the biggest fan of this fragrance, but it's fine. I mean, it's weird because the Dior stick, the blush stick, I love the fragrance of that. It smells kind of minty, vanilla-y. But this, I can't really pinpoint what it smells like other than Dior. So I know that's not helpful at all. So these claim to be an ultra long wearing and innovative Dior lipstick with a shine finish, which shapes and smooths the lips whilst hydrating them for 24 hours. They leave you with a glossy shine and an intense colour. This is quite a unique product to me and quite a unique lipstick, and one that I wasn't really expecting. So I thought that it would be a very similar finish to these, the Hydrating Shine lipsticks, and I thought that they would be very kind of balmy feeling. And when you put them on, I mean, you can see how beautiful and flattering it is. Look at it. All of my lip lines are smoothed. It really is gorgeous, and not to mention the shade is just gorgeous. I mean, who doesn't love nude lipsticks? I do. I love nude lipsticks. I live for them, and this is perfection. But here's the thing, right? This, I expected to feel like a true lipstick, but it doesn't feel like a true lipstick because it remains shiny, which is amazing. I love that. It remains really beautiful and glossy, not like super ridiculous high shine, but really beautiful and glossy like this. But it dries down, but has a bit of a tack to it. When I wore this yesterday, after an hour or two, it definitely felt a little bit on the tacky side. It felt a little bit like a lip lacquer. You know, like the Maybelline Vinyl Ink that, you know, beautiful and shiny, dries down, but you can feel a little bit of tackiness to the lips. This is how this dries down. Not that I didn't like it, because you know what? This is very long wearing. This is going to last. This is definitely a lip product that I'm going to reach for when I need longevity. So if I'm going to an event, if I'm going on a night out, if I'm going out for dinner, I'm going to use this. If I just want comfort, like a lip balmy finish, I'm going to go for the Hydrating Shine lipsticks. So they're definitely different. I thought they would be the same, but they're not. They have a completely different purpose. I'll just do a transfer test for you. Now, it does come off there. No, it's not being very transfer proof today. There's still some there, but you can see that that has taken quite a lot off my lips. If you build this up, it's not going to be transfer proof. But if you just do one really light layer like this, it will be transfer proof. But I like it built up. I do. And it is very buildable. Yeah, I'd be tempted to get another maybe 1 or 2 shades of this. I mean, Dior do lipsticks so well, and yeah, it's gorgeous. It really is. Being completely truthful with you, there's nothing today that I would not hand on heart recommend. I love them all. They are all new top drawer products, every single one of them. There's not one of them that I have a problem with. So do let me know, have you tried any of these, or are any of them on your radar? Let me know everything down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. But until then, take care and bye for now.